Hi fashion designer, welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to share with you how to draft a shirt pattern, and I'm also going to share the easiest method on drafting a collar pattern. So if you are a beginner, this tutorial is definitely for you. So before we waste any time, let's jump straight to it. So the first step is to leave at least 3 inches away from the pattern paper, and this is going to serve as a button placket. So now the next thing you want to draft or mark 2 lines, the horizontal and vertical. The one on top is going to serve as the shoulder line. So from the shoulder line, you're going to mark half of your armhole round, and in my case is 9.5 inches. And then again from shoulder, you're going to mark your bust point line, and mine is going to be around 11 inches. Then from the shoulder line, you're going to mark shoulder to waist, then mark a line across the pattern paper. Then the last measurement is to mark from shoulder to the full length of the blouse plus 1 inch of hemming. Now for the shoulder, you need to measure half of your shoulder measurement, and mine is actually 8 inches. And then from that point, you're going to extend it all the way down to the chest line. Then you're going to create a shoulder slope, and for the shirt, you just need to mark 1.5 inch. Then from here, we're going to find the neck width, which is going to be 3 inches. For the neck depth, we're going to start for the back one, which is going to drop by 1 inch. Then connect these 2 points to form a neckline. Now the next thing is to create, this neckline is going to be for the back. Please make sure that you mark that. So the next thing is to create the front neckline, which is going to be 3 inches. And then connect these 2 points to form a front neckline. Now, once we are done, we need to go ahead right on the button placket. It's going to be 1 inch apart. So this line that we have marked, they are going to help when we do fold in the button placket. Now it's time to implement our horizontal measurement. You're going to take 1/4 of your bust round circumference and add 1.5 inch. The 1/2 inch is going to be for seam allowance. Then you're going to extend this measurement all the way down to the hemming line. On the waistline, if you want your shirt to have that shape, go to the waistline and go in by 1/2 inch. Now on the hemming line, I'm going to go up by 1 inch or 1.5 inch if you want to, and then mark here. And then on the outside of this line, you want to mark 1/2 inch also. Then the next thing is to connect these 2 points, and I'm using my curved ruler to connect these 2 points from the waistline all the way to the chest line also. To shape the bottom hem of the shirt, I am going to mark 1.5 inch right here on the hemline. And then I'm going to use my curved ruler, and I'm just going to blend in the line back to the hemline. And we are done. For step 4, we're going to shape our armhole. Now remember here we went down by 1.5 inch. So I'm just going to connect this 1.5 inch to the neck width to create a shoulder slope. Now between this line, I am going to find a center point, which is going to be 4 in my case. Then I'm going to go in by 1/2 inch. Then from here, I'm going to take my curved ruler. From that 1/2 inch, I'm going to connect it to the shoulder slope. Then create a curved line like so. And this line is going to form a front armhole. For the back armhole, I'm marking it with the red marker. Here from the straight line is going to be back armhole. So when you cut out your pattern, make sure you cut out from the back armhole first and then the back neckline also. Moving on to drafting the back pattern, I'm going to go ahead and fold the button placket for the front and then take this pattern and trace it on the pattern paper, and the back pattern is complete. Make sure you label all your patterns. Now again, you want to take your front pattern and trim off the front neckline and also the front armhole line. Now before we go ahead to cut out on the shoulder, make sure you measure the armhole for the front pattern and mark this number down. In my case, the armhole round is actually 10 inches. So right on the shoulder, I am going to mark 1.5 inch and I'm going to cut out this piece and attach it to the back pattern. When you attach this piece, make sure that you connect it the correct side, meaning shoulder to shoulder. And this is how it will look, and it will actually help the shoulder to overlap to the front side. Now for the collar, you want to move ahead and fold the button placket away and then carefully measure the front neckline and then mark the number down. Once you are done, you want to also do the same thing, carefully measure the back pattern neckline, then mark the number down. And please don't forget to measure the width of your button placket. Now on the new pattern paper, I'm going to mark a straight line. Then I'm going to first mark the back measurement neckline and then followed by the front measurement neckline. Then for the width of my stand collar, it's going to be around 1 inch, or if you're using centimeters, write 2 cm. Then from here, I'm just going to extend the back neckline like so. Then from here, you're going to just create a curved line that connects to the top edge of the top line. Then what I want to do is to mark 2 cm from here, or 1 inch, and then reconnect it back to that center line. And that's your collar stand. Now from here, you want to go ahead and add the 1 inch for the button stand, or if you're using in centimeters, add 2 cm. So over here, I'm adding a collar stand, or button stand, sorry. And then I'm just going to blend the line back to the collar stand. And then if you want, you can leave it like this, or you can reshape it right on the edge like so. Now the next thing we want to do is to create the actual collar. So from here, my collar is going to be around 2 inches long. If you're using centimeters, it's going to be 5 cm long. Then from the collar buttons, button stand, I'm going to go in by 2 cm or 1 inch. And then I'm going to mark a straight line. Please note that I'm tilting my line towards the side, and this line is not so straight. So then from this point, I'm going to take my curved ruler and connect it back to the 2 inch mark. And your collar is complete. Now please take note that this pattern doesn't have any seam allowance. Now moving along to the sleeve, remember we did measure the armhole for the front, and in my case it was 10 inches. So first I'm going to mark a straight line on a new pattern paper. Mark the full length of your sleeve, which is going to be 8 inches in my case. Now the next thing, I am going to implement my cap's height, which is bust measurement divided by 12, and it gave me 3.5 inches. So from here, I'm going to take from these two lines, I'm going to now implement that measurement, the armhole measurement, which was 10 inches. I'm going to place it right in between these two lines. Then I am going to create a diagonal line as shown on the screen. Then once we are done, find the center point of this line. The next thing is to take your curved ruler and mark a sleeve head. So I'm just going to connect these 2 points. The next thing we need to do is to mark your half of your bicep round plus 1 inch for seam allowance. Now the sleeve has the both back and the front. I'm going to use my red marker and use my curved ruler and create an in curve. So where I'm marking with the red marker, it's going to form as a front sleeve. So I'm using a green marker. The B means back side of the sleeve. So our sleeve pattern is complete. It's time for us to cut it out. When you cut out your sleeve pattern, make sure you start cutting the back side, then go ahead and open up your pattern and trim off the front. These are all the pattern pieces that you will need to actually sew up a shirt pattern. So stay tuned for part 2. So now we have reached the end of this tutorial. I hope you will enjoy making this project as much as I did. So as for me, see you on the next one.